I have a step-by-step tutorial on how to dry fish in resin and make it look three-dimensional. It's available on my Patreon learning page. I leave a link in the description. But today I want to show you and tell you in detail about the final finish. How to apply a protective varnish for tabletops that helps prevent scratches, heat damage and yellowing, as well as how to attach the table base to a resin tabletop. Get comfy, relax. My name is Nati Rumina and I'm here to teach you the magic of epoxy resin. The first step, once the resin has cured and your table, tray or dish is ready, and this applies to all resin pieces, is applying a final epoxy resin coat. For that, I'm using a medium viscosity resin called Art Pro from Resin Pro, and I also have a 10% discount promo code NATIRU. You can find lots of videos on finishing and table making on my YouTube channel, and I share the link as well. The key to a perfect finish is wet cleaning the workspace beforehand, room temperature between 24-26 Celsius, humidity no higher than 50%. Otherwise, you get an ambient blush on the surface. Another important rule, the resin needs to rest and thicken a bit before using. If you apply the top coat while it's still too fresh, it won't build up properly. You'll end up with thin patch covering and no depth. So mix it and then give it time to set. Before applying the finish, I sanded the entire tabletop with the center disc to improve adhesion. Then I degreased the surface and poured the finish coat in several layers. First, I pour a small amount and watch how it spreads. Remove bubbles with a quick, sharp movements. Then I pour the second layer and do the same. The third layer goes on the edges. And it's important not to scratch the resin, but to gently smooth it like wrapping your table in a soft blanket. Then we leave it to cure. Once everything is cured, I remove any drips from the underside by sanding them off. I also apply a thin finish coat to the backside, just a light layer without creating the caramel edge. And once everything is dry, we move on to the part that scares most students. But don't worry, listen carefully and you'll be able to get the perfect polish and prep for varnishing. First, choose the right sanding machine. Then make sure you're using the right sanding discs, not the ones with a paper base, but the ones on a dense fabric backing. Paper-based discs tend to shed grit, which can ruin the whole process. Also, after each grit, wipe the surface with a damp cloth. This step is super important. And I also talked about in my YouTube channel a great addition to my setup, a vacuum cleaner. I connect it directly to the sander so all the dust gets sucked in right away and doesn't build up on the surface. If you don't have a vacuum, be extra thorough when wiping off the disc with a damp cloth. And add a bit of water while sanding. This helps prevent the resin from overheating and boiling, and it also makes the sander process smoother and gentle. I set up to 4000 grit and then move on to the varnish. On my Instagram, I showed a test drive on this varnish. I scratched it, dropped hot coals on it, and it held up perfectly. So today I'll be using it on the table. It's a two-component varnish and I'll be applying it with a spray gun in two stages. The first is a light coat, the second one goes on about 3 minutes later. And finally, attaching the legs to the tabletop. There are a few ways to do this, and today I'm going with the screws. Since the frame is made of wood, first I drill small pilot holes using a very thin bit, then I screw in the fastener. This helps prevent the resin from cracking. You can find even more helpful tips on my Learning Platform Patreon. If this was useful, please tap the hearts and let me know. Have you ever tried varnishing your pieces? Have a great day. Bye.